Hello, everyone. Walk Hill Bethelite here. And unfortunately, I've got to report some news. Now, some of you may already be aware that a Jehovah's Witness was gunned down, shot dead, while preaching door to door in Rockford, Illinois. The name of the Jehovah's Witness, let me pronounce this correctly, is Miguel Perez. And he was 54 years old. The shooting happened at the 1300 block of 7th Avenue around 11:46 a.m. And we have a problem here because Jehovah's Witnesses cannot deny that this happened. They're probably having the Zoom funeral for Mr. Miguel Perez either as we speak or sometime in the near future. There were Jehovah's Witnesses that were there when it occurred. No one can deny it happened. So we've got to explain why Jehovah did not protect the Jehovah's Witnesses while they were in the door-to-door ministry. The reports were horrible that I read. The reports that I read said that Miguel was in a situation where he was dead on sight. There was no possible way the paramedics or the ambulance could have gotten there, rushed him to the hospital to have given him a chance at survival. He was dead probably instantly. He was shot dead instantly while in the door-to-door ministry. And for the longest time, Jehovah's Witnesses have been told that they have got God's protection while out in the ministry. Unfortunately, it had to come to an actual event that proves the governing body has been lying to their membership. The governing body has been lying to Jehovah's Witnesses, telling them that all you have to do is have a prayer before you go out, and God and his angels will watch over you. There have been articles. I've gone to the Pioneer School. I've heard it myself, where Jehovah's Witnesses have been taught that angels will guide them to specific doors. That could not have possibly been true. Otherwise, Miguel Perez would not have been led by an angel to his demise, to his death. If Miguel Perez was being led by Jehovah God, why on earth did he park his car and sit in his car and get murdered? If he's being directed by angels, wouldn't the angels have directed the person, the killer, to another block? Wouldn't the angels have held Mr. Perez up, speaking to another resident while the killer drove by, and kept Miguel talking to someone else long enough to save his life? Aren't there myriads of angels out making sure Jehovah's Witnesses are safe while they are out in the door-to-door ministry? You can't deny what's right there in front of your eyes. You can't deny what's right here in the report. Jehovah's Witnesses are not specially protected by God or angels while they are out passing out Watchtower magazines. We have the proof here that cannot be argued. So the governing body has got some explaining to do to its members, because for the longest time, I'm telling you, I was born and raised in the cult of Jehovah's Witnesses, and we would go out in the most dangerous neighborhoods, get out of our cars in the most dangerous neighborhoods, the poorest neighborhoods, the ghettos, the hood. And we would just start walking up to random people's doors, knocking on them. And we thought we were safe. It wasn't that we were knowledgeable that we're risking our lives doing this. We thought we were safe. We had prayer before we went out, asking for God's spirit and direction. Why wasn't it given to Miguel Perez? The governing body of Jehovah's Witnesses owe an explanation to the family of Miguel Perez, who is no longer with us. He's gone. They just lost a family member. And the governing body needs to explain to them why Jehovah did not protect him from that shooter. We need an explanation here. Why Jehovah did not direct him to park somewhere else. It would just be that simple for an angel to direct him somewhere else. Why didn't God direct Miguel Perez and the people that were with him, who could have easily been killed also if they were in the car? I seriously doubt that shooter would have left witnesses intentionally. If they were in the car when the shooter, they'd probably be dead too. So why wasn't Miguel Perez directed by Jehovah to do letter writing instead of risking his life to go into a neighborhood where the news reporters spoke to the residents, and the residents of the area said they're not surprised. This is something that they have had to deal with on a regular basis because it's a bad neighborhood. The congregation of that area has to be aware, just like all the residents, that it is a bad neighborhood. You can go to any congregation of Jehovah's Witnesses and ask, let me see what they call your territory maps. It's a mapped out area that Jehovah's Witnesses look at, and they go to those homes on that map and knock on the doors, and they go through a little rotation, right, to make sure they rotate through all the different homes. Well, why is these dangerous neighborhoods? Why are these dangerous neighborhoods on all these territory maps? It's because the governing body is directing Jehovah's Witnesses to physically go out in these bad areas and pass out Watchtower. The governing body is asking Jehovah's Witnesses to risk their lives to get watchtowers in these bad areas. Now, it is definitely not worth risking your life when all you had to do is call. They have something called phone witnessing. All you have to do is call the residents. They have something called letter writing that Jehovah's Witnesses do. They had other options. It's not that Miguel Perez lost his life because it was necessary for him to physically be there. The Jehovah's Witness cult has got other options. They write letters to residences. They make phone calls to residences. They can invite the people of the residence to have a Zoom study where they have a computer and they literally have a Bible study with someone over the computer. I have seen Jehovah's Witnesses offer to have a Zoom Bible study over Zoom where you do not have to be there physically. So there was no reason at all for Miguel Perez to have been sent out into that bad neighborhood where he then lost his life. So there needs to be an explanation by the elders of that congregation, whatever congregation, and we can pinpoint it because there is a specific kingdom hall, the church that the Jehovah's Witnesses use, they call them kingdom halls. There is a specific kingdom hall that has that bad area on a map. So we can prove that there is a specific congregation that sent Miguel Perez to his death. Someone sent him out there along with the others that were with him. Someone knowingly had that area on a map, knowing Jehovah's Witnesses were going to go there, risking their life in doing so. And they did it knowing they could have had a study on Zoom. They could just send letters to neighborhoods that are dangerous. They could just do phone calls to neighborhoods that are dangerous. Totally, completely, and utterly unnecessary loss of life. Not only is the governing body, and I blame the governing body, I blame the governing body, and B, I blame the elders of the congregation that has that territory, because it's their job to know if they are sending people out and risking their lives. It's their job to know. Even if you look at it from a scriptural perspective, elders are supposed to shepherd the flock. They're not supposed to send the flock out to the wolves to be eaten. That is exactly what happened to Miguel Perez. He was sent out either by the elders or the circuit overseer or the governing body. Definitely the governing body holds a share of the blame here. But there is a hierarchy where people are responsible for directing the activities of the door-to-door preaching work. Somebody is responsible for sending him out there where he then died. Bloodily and unnecessarily. The people who were with him that heard the gunshots, heard him being murdered, traumatized, I'm sure. Unnecessarily traumatized. Can you imagine his family? He's 54 years old. I'm sure he's got family. He could possibly have been married, could have had kids, grandkids. The horror that they went through when they got the news that Miguel was killed. And the horror that they have to endure, knowing it was totally unnecessary for him to even physically be there, because they have letter writing. They've got Zoom where they can go over Zoom, and it was completely unnecessary for him to even be there physically, to actually physically be there. And how fortunate the other witnesses are that are alive to have made it out. They just so happened to not be in the car. Because they were obviously not being protected by Jehovah. And the governing body doesn't care to send people out in bad neighborhoods. Now, the governing body doesn't want to upset the United States government. So they will tell Jehovah's Witnesses to do letter writing if COVID, if there's a lockdown or something like that for COVID, right? Now, the governing body will say, well, it's because we love the brotherhood. It's because we love our membership. As a matter of fact, the governing body lowered the hourly requirement, I believe, to 50 for pioneering. And they say, oh, it's because we love our members. Well, if you love your members, why are you sending them out into these bad neighborhoods where there's gang graffiti on the walls, bullet holes in the homes of the residences, according to the people who were interviewed there? You're sending them into known dangerous areas. You don't love them, otherwise you would not do that. And Miguel would be alive today. Now, it's sad news to hear about a person losing their life and losing their life unnecessarily. Now, we do not want to see a single person have to go through the horror of being told that their relative was murdered while volunteering for Watchtower. And that's another reason why we do these videos, to tell people that the governing body is just a group of men. Jehovah is not specially protecting Jehovah's Witnesses just because the governing body says so. And we have the proof here that we are not lying to you. Jehovah did not stop those bullets from hitting Miguel. Jehovah did not make sure Miguel could at least make it to the hospital to have a chance at surviving. Jehovah did not direct Miguel and them to a different house for that particular day. So if the governing body is lying about Jehovah protecting and the angels protecting people while they're sending them out into these bad neighborhoods, they're lying to them, getting them to risk their lives, what else is the governing body lying about? If the governing body lied about the end of the world coming before the generation of 1914 passing away, what else are they lying about? Everything is a lie. Everything is unfolding as a lie. They have been lying to their entire group, their entire membership. They've been lying to them the whole time about all of it. And someone had to end up losing their life as a result. So comment down below. Let me know what you think. But while we don't want to see anybody lose their life, it should have been Tony Morris that got shot dead that day. It should have been Sam Hurd with bullets ricocheting off of his diaper. It should have been one of the governing body members who are instructing other people to go and risk their lives to get their watchtowers out to people so that the governing body can get money out of the community. Miguel didn't see a dime of the money that the governing body is getting from all this work. Miguel and Miguel's family don't get a dime of the money that Miguel has risked his life for the governing body to get. The governing body's pocketing that money. The governing body's using that money to fight sex abuse cases. The governing body's using that money to buy properties and then flip kingdom halls and sell them to churches for money. Miguel and his family isn't getting anything. But Watchtower and the governing body, they're benefiting from Miguel's death. They're benefiting from Jehovah's Witnesses going out and risking their lives where they could possibly die so that the governing body can get another member out of the community, possibly. Somebody to put money in the contribution box. Somebody to use their bank account to send Watchtower money every month as they've been doing with the membership. So this is a warning to all Jehovah's Witnesses. You can lose your life. And the governing body has been wrong about so many things. They were wrong about the generation of 1914. And they are wrong when they tell you, oh, if you die, you'll just be resurrected by Jehovah. The same governing body told you that you're protected and you're guided by Jehovah's Spirit while you're out in the ministry, which was not the case for Miguel. So don't risk your entire life. Don't put all your eggs in the Watchtower basket and say, I'm going to risk my entire life and the life of my family, because people bring their kids with them to these really bad neighborhoods. Young kids, they bring the young kids with them to these bad neighborhoods in the projects, in the ghetto, in the going to people's houses. They risk their life, the lives of their families, all in the hopes that the governing body is right. They're all in the hopes that Loesch is correct. All in the hopes that Stephen Lett is correct. They risk their lives hoping that these men are right about what they're telling them. You have to have street smarts. You can't go into bad neighborhoods in the hood in a full suit, probably looking like a policeman or an investigator or a detective or something to a gang member who possibly is on drugs. All they know is they don't know who you are. You are in their area. And you look like you look like you either have money because you're all dressed up. You look like you could be an informant. You look like you could be a police officer of some sort. Any number of things could happen. That's the reason why people don't go out in bad neighborhoods. So, unfortunately, Miguel Perez family is going to have to lay him to rest. More blood on the hands of the governing body of Jehovah's Witnesses. It's a shame. It's a shame that so many people die because they're listening to these men in Watchtower and doing what these men tell them to do. Thinking that Jehovah must be listening to thinking that Jehovah and Watchtower are essentially the same thing. Whatever Watchtower says, Jehovah's in agreement with. Obviously not. Obviously not. Comment down below. Let me know what you think. 937-789-4029. We'll discuss it. X Wall Kill Bethelite signing out.